Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Book Reviews. My guest today is Khaleel Muhammad. He's one of the most established artists in the nasheed industry, whose soulful voice and dynamic stage performances have made him an internationally known performer. He has appeared in several TV shows, adverts, and the Disney film Cinderella. Khaleel is an author, TV presenter for IQRAA TV and British Muslim TV, and a radio presenter for Inspire 105.1 FM. Khaleel is also an accomplished designer and illustrator for children's books. So I'd like to give a warm welcome to Khaleel Muhammad. Thank you for coming on today's show.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you heard the intro. You are an international star and you're multi-talented.
Yeah, star might be a little bit of an exaggeration there.
I have to say, with the Cinderella film, were you the ugly sister?
I was actually, yes. I was the third one to the left, actually, yeah. Okay. It was me.
Yeah, that's good. So what else do you do apart from the list that I've already given?
Well, I can tie my shoelace and whistle at the same time, and I do a fantastic job of that, so mashallah. I mean, you've pretty much covered everything that I do. I do workshops for children, I do drum workshops, nasheed workshops. So I think besides that, yeah, you've covered everything else. Nasheeds, obviously. I host a kids' round show at Inspire FM. I do the Khaleel's Make and Do at British Muslim TV. And I illustrate and I write children's books as well.
Fantastic. And can you tell me more about your books? I know you've done quite a few now, haven't you?
Well, the book started off actually, well, my writing career started off many years ago when I used to work for Yusuf Islam, Mountain of Light. And Yusuf gave me a blank check, so to speak, and gave me the ability to produce any audio books that I liked. And I did an audio documentary called Salahuddin, Champion of the Crusades, Simple Guide to Prayer, and a project that I was working on for many years before that was The Adventures of Hakim. The Adventures of Hakim is an audio adventure story for Muslim children, and that was what really gave me a taste for writing and kind of going into it. So the books that I write now, they usually are for children, because I feel that I have a sort of particular leaning towards children. I have an affinity with children, and they seem to like me. So that's pretty cool. So I try to make things for kids to kind of give them something to, you know, to look upon, and possible role models as well.
Wait, how do you get your ideas?
I get my ideas from comics. I get my ideas from superhero movies, and I get my ideas from horror films as well.
Horror films? Why?
Yeah, because I like horror films. I just like horror films because there's a certain kind of tempo that you have to get in order to scare people, the jump scares and this type of thing. But primarily superheroes. I mean, since I was a wee nipper, since I was like this big, maybe a bit smaller, or maybe here, I was always into comics. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko. You might not know these people, but that is my earliest inspiration. And that's what really got me into writing and, more importantly, into drawing and illustration.
I see, and a lot of children can relate to superheroes.
Well, superheroes are all the craze at the moment. Obviously, you know, films are making over $1 billion each film, let alone the entire franchise. So definitely people are plugged into the superhero pop culture at the moment, and for me, it's like a dream come true.
I mean, with your book covers, I know you're an illustrator. Did you actually draw them, or was it somebody else?
No, because I haven't illustrated for many years. I used to work for Atari. I did some covers for them, some of their games. I also illustrated a couple of Kung Fu video covers and stuff like that. So I'd stopped painting for a very long time. So when the Muslim All-Stars came around, I wasn't the automatic choice to actually illustrate it. So I found a very talented individual by the name of Hilal Nezaki. And his work is all over social media. He's a Muslim brother. And I found him on DeviantArt and approached him, and he was a very nice brother. And the publishing company worked out a deal with him, and he illustrated the cover and the insides as well, but in a very beautiful manga style, anime manga style, which I know that kids love. So I felt it was a good idea to have someone who can do it in that style because, as I said, the manga style is so popular, and it's a style that kids can actually draw themselves as well. There's so many books illustrating how to actually draw manga stuff as well, and I think that's one of the big appeals of the book, inshallah. Okay,
and you draw manga, do you? Is that the kind of illustrations that you do?
Well, I can turn my style towards manga. I have done something recently for Maria Idrisi, her book Adam's Adventures, and she wanted a slight manga style for that. So I did a manga style for that. I've also done more traditional, almost photorealistic work. for book recently, Allah's Noble Prophets. So I can change my style to some degree to suit the author, to suit the story, to suit the genre as well.
And it can be quite time-consuming to draw a picture, would you say?
Yes, it can be. But the good thing about it, I'm one of those very blessed people, is that I love what I do, and what I do for a living. So I don't mind spending as much time as needed on a particular piece or a series of pieces, as long as I get the job done. But I love doing it anyway. So I've been described as a workaholic as well, which for me is fine.
Great.
I think it's perfect for me, because as I said, I love what I do, and I make a living from what I do.
That's fantastic. And you do a lot of TV presenting as well, you just said. Who's actually inspired you? What person would you say has really sort of shone out in your life?
Well, obviously the biggest inspiration for me is the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. I'm a convert to Islam, just in case nobody knows that. So for me, becoming a Muslim, being inspired by the life of the Prophet ﷺ, was the biggest pivotal, the biggest, most important thing I've ever done, is become Muslim. But if you mean in terms of media, I think I've mentioned some people already. You know, Jack Kirby, the king of comics, Steve Ditko, Paul Gulacy, John Buscema.
I see, you met them all,
No, I've not met them. George Perez. If you're into comics, you'll know who these guys are. George Perez, Alan Moore, all of these superhero comic book artists. Those really are the artists, the writers that I've drawn my earliest inspiration from, and they are still going quite strong today.
I see. No, that's really good to know. And apart from all that you do you have any hobbies? Do you do something mysterious
outside?
To tell us?
No, my hobbies are what I love to do.
You like
it's what I do for a living. Yeah. So I also produce audio books. So I do a lot of audio work for my radio show at Inspire FM, Kids Round Show. So that's where that skill comes in, and I do that anyway. I like doing stuff like that anyway. Illustration, singing, writing songs, workshops, doing drum workshops, I do that anyway. So when I'm called upon to do it professionally, it's not that different from what I do at home anyway. So there's not a lot of difference between what I do for a living and what I do as a hobby. If you mean totally veg out, and I turn my brain off, then I watch a lot of TV series. Like I watch The Flash, I watch Supergirl, and I watch Walking Dead, stuff like that. So hey, I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, what can I say? But that's the stuff I love. I get off on
and you need chill time, so you know.
Yeah, you do. At least an hour a day, I think, for that. Yeah, because I do work a lot of hours.
Yes, and you do need to switch off sometimes.
Yeah, but the problem is I switch off my desire to eat, and I don't eat for the whole day. And people say, why are you not eating, brother? What's wrong with you? I'm like, duh, guilty, but I don't know. As I said, I'm very blessed to be in the position I am, mashallah.
I mean, can you switch your brain off when you're sleeping?
No.
You can't?
No, honestly, I can't. I can't turn my brain off. It's weird. I can remember from a very young age, and I'll tell you a little secret about Khaleel Muhammad, right?
Okay.
Since I was very young, I've always had this feeling, this sensation inside of my body. I'm not saying possessed, right? Don't get it twisted. But what I'm saying is that I've always had this kind of energy that's kind of vibrating inside of me. And I can feel it right now as I speak. And that has always been there. That's always been my motivational energy source. It's always been there for me. And it's still there now. As I said, I can feel it right now. So that's what's pushed me. So with that always ticking over, I do find out how to turn my brain off. But I don't mind, because I love what I do, mashallah. I love it very much. So for me, it's even if I'm chilling out watching something, I'm usually making mental notes.
I see.
From what I'm watching, and to sort of think, how can I incorporate that in what I do? Because I see excellence as something that anyone can adhere to, someone can reach for, whether if it's a good quality script or lighting or film or editing or singing or song, you know, you can still learn from that, regardless of the source or regardless of what they're trying to express, particularly in that genre or that piece. But in terms of the professionalism that goes into it, I think that's something very important that we can always learn from.
I mean, do you wake up in the middle of the night and think,
Eureka!
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Not so often, because I'm getting a bit old now, but not as often as I used to. Well, you'd be surprised. But I do from time to time. Yeah, I always have to have my phone with me with the recording button, so I can always record songs or ideas. And when I was coming here today, I was recording something.
I see. No,
that's kind of sad, really.
Absolutely wonderful to hear. And do you have any advice for wannabe writers out there?
Yes.
Can you tell us?
Read and read and read and read and read some more, and then go away and make some notes. Try a few things out. Don't be afraid to fail. Get your friends, your relatives, your cousins, whoever, a man on the street, get them to read it, critique it, learn to take criticism. If you can, join our sort of class that is going to teach you the basic structure of stories, whatever genre you want to go into, whatever expression you want to go into. So read and take your craft seriously and go for it.
And that's how to build ideas, you know, through reading.
Yeah, ideas are where you find them. You know, people can be inspired by the smallest things. So what inspires me may not inspire you and vice versa. So people have to sort of cultivate an interest in things that they like, but things outside of their immediate comfort zone as well.
Yes,
because as I said, it's where you find it, and you never know what's going to inspire you or what's going to move you to do anything.
Okay.
You know, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, Khaleel, would you be doing what you're doing now? I would have said never. I would never be on the radio, I'd never be doing TV, let alone singing. I mean, singing is one of the most difficult things, because when you're writing a song, you're talking about your innermost feelings. And to have your innermost feelings displayed in public, and then to sing on stage when no one's looking at you like this, it's almost insane to think about doing that. But people do it all the time. So I
mean, they all go hand in hand, though, wouldn't you say?
They go hand in hand, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. And we're coming to the end of the show, and I'd really like you to...
Already?
Yes, almost. Can you sing one of your nasheeds, a short sort of extract or something?
There is a song that I'm working on at the moment. It's not been released. Maybe once you hear it, you probably think,
us an
thank God for that. The chosen one whose face is like 1,000 splendid suns. The story of his life will move you deep inside. The beauty of his face amongst the prophets of old. His words are like a distant love song to the heart. Who is he, the chosen one?
Mashallah, that's fantastic. And did you actually write that?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh, no,
that was one of those eureka moments. I was sitting in my bed, literally listening to the back, and I thought, and just wrote it down.
I see.
So,
I see. Oh, mashallah, that's great. And I do hope that you continue with all your work. And I think you're an inspiration to many. And there are, you've got a huge following. So, keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, sister. Jazakallah.
Okay, so I'd like to end the show with a quote. A novel is an impression, not an argument. And there the matter must rest. And that was written by Thomas Hardy. So thanks for watching today's show. It's been a very interesting one. Until next time, goodbye.